Oh yeah, but the rich are greedy. Or investment is not for me. Investment is for the rich. There's no way I'm going to make it. These are some of the general misconceptions that we've held since childhood when it comes to money. And in my opinion, I think these are the most important things that you need to liberate yourself of in order for you to get in the right frame of mind and then go on to pursue your financial goals and be successful. So it's widely said and believed by Napoleon Hill that whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. And the opposite is also true. So whatever the mind doesn't believe and whatever the mind doesn't conceive, it becomes very difficult for the mind to achieve. Now, why am I saying this? Several misconceptions have been shared and it's been spread, ever since we were kids about money. And sometimes when I hold several discussions with my friends and with family, I hear all these things about, but money is the root of all evil and all that. And people do not really sit down to assess the impact of all these comments and all these beliefs on their finances and on their lives in general. It's good, there's a psychological effect that says that you distort reality to make yourself feel good. The subconscious mind is so powerful, but what it really does sometimes to affect us negatively is that it projects or subordinates every single unfortunate incident, which in a way sometimes might be the road or the roadmap to our success and our breakthrough. But then because the subconscious mind is responsible for happiness, our safety and all that, it pushes all these unforeseen circumstances or any circumstance that might stand in between you and happiness. But think about it. Most people out there who have gone on to make all the money, gone on to achieve success, whether in their career, in their fields of study, whether in business, whether in families, have actually had to deal with something. So Napoleon Hill believes that every adversity, every heartache, and every disappointment carries with it the seed of an equal or a greater benefit. So these misconceptions might be having so much impact on you negatively that you may not know because your subconscious mind may be playing a trick on you. In my opinion, that is what I believe. But I feel like it is doing its natural responsibility. It's just executing its natural responsibility, and that it's pushing all these unfavorable circumstances down just to make sure that you feel okay. Let's talk about the first misconception that people have when it comes to money. Money is generally the root of all evil. Well, that statement itself is wrong because it was quoted from the Bible, and the Bible says the love of money is the root of all evil, not money itself. So the love of money is the root of all evil, but not money itself. And I hold several discussions with people and they repeat this, but money has led someone to do this, to do that, to do that. And as a result of that, they don't even want to amass too much wealth. Most people close in my circle will tell you that, but once you begin to have so much money, so many problems come. It's true. But then also when you're poor, you still see all these problems coming as well. So there's no difference whether you're poor or you're rich. You're still bound to face problems and challenges. And that is even the main reason why you've got to change your mind when it comes to money. These misconceptions are not taken lightly at all, in my opinion. It shouldn't be taken lightly at all because they really do a lot of harm to people and to society. Because think about it, if someone like Elon Musk had given up on his dreams, if he had not gone on to be this stubborn person that would say that irrespective of whatever I'm going through, irrespective of the fact that I've amassed over $180 million from the sale of PayPal, I'm not sitting back. I'm still going on to create something called SpaceX and Tesla in this case, where human beings would have the opportunity to reduce its carbon footprint. Imagine if he had just become too comfortable and sat down without having to pursue all these goals. What would have happened? The first misconception that people hold when it comes to money is one thing that I don't even want to hear about at all. And that is money is the root of all evil. And that is a lie. A very huge lie. Anyone that tells you that, money is the root of all evil, and it's been said and we believed it when we were kids. So anytime you're pushing so much, anytime you've got the desire to pursue anything financial, you still have within you this sense of guilt, feeling like, oh, but what if I get too much? There's nothing like too much depending on what your desire is. People have several desires. People have the desire to pursue selfish gains, I understand. But then also there are people whose collective responsibility is to help people out there. Their desire is to create something that reduces stress. Think about it, there are several apps that help us today. These were as a result of people's desire to create a solution to a problem in life. And all these things have been overlooked. People tend to just skip that part where they're trying to solve a problem. And then in exchange for that, they get money as a reward. And then they skip straight to the success story. But what these people are doing is they're providing something for us to fall back on in times of need. Or secondly, people are bound by disbelief. They've got no idea or they've got no hope whatsoever that they can actually go on to make money. And this is what Napoleon Hill calls the principle of applied faith. So what that simply means is that you need to make sure that you psych yourself to a point where you don't have any level of disbelief whatsoever when it comes to the attainment of your goals. So you need to make sure that you convince yourself beyond reasonable doubt. And if it comes to the limit where you've got to cut people off, you've got to isolate yourself and build, there's a need for you to do that. What people usually do is that they tend to hold you back. It can be friends, it can be family. Sometimes they're not, negatively trying to restrict you in order for you not to attain your goals. But sometimes they're just genuinely concerned. Because I remember clearly, before I met my wife, I used to work so much. I would work several days, 6 days a week, actually. And that was mad. But then she just sat down and said, what is your goal? Shared my goals, shared everything. And he said, yeah, I understand that there is the desire to pursue all these goals. But then you need to manage that desire in order for you not to end up stressing yourself, not to end up doing several things that might actually just sway you entirely from the path that you're on towards the success stories that you want to write. So that is it. People tend not to believe themselves altogether. Oh, but I can't do it. Or I don't come from a rich family. Oh, but but Elon Musk is lucky. He found himself with a couple of friends that were smart as he was. Oh, but there was a crash during an economic crash during his time that eventually helped him to get some loans and not all that, the support from the US government, which eventually just helped him up and all that. Oh, but but Warren Buffett is lucky. It's not everyone that, touch wood, lives till 94. So if he's invested for over 8 decades and has amassed over $150 billion worth, then he is lucky. But luck actually means preparation meets an opportunity. And before you be able to do that, you need to make sure that you believe in yourself. This belief has helped several visions and several goals back. And no one out there would fuel you as much as you'd fuel yourself. In my case, I was privileged to meet my wife who supports me. She comes in as and when I need her to make provision for the basic needs and everything. Inspiration, motivation here and there. You may not have that person, but what you need to do is that you need to apply your faith. You need to convince yourself beyond reasonable doubt. And the only way that you can do this, if you don't have anyone, like in my case where I have my wife and I have my siblings out there, you can constantly go on there, get books to read, book of people that you look up to. For me, it's Warren Buffett. It's all the investors out there. I look up to Bill Gates. He's making so much impact in the world, funding vaccination programs here and there, coming up with, support and assistance for children and all that. You need to make sure that you convince yourself that you can do it and go on eventually to execute. Fail until you make it. No one is going to motivate you more than you can motivate yourself. The external motivation is necessary. Read books, listen to podcasts, follow people on social media that can influence you to continue and to stay on track to attain all the goals that you pursue. Don't waste time. Don't listen to people. People would say all manner of things, but you know yourself. You know what you're pursuing. And that is why it is very necessary for you to convince yourself. Believing in yourself is one of the best things you can ever do for yourself. I don't know what you've been through I don't know what your story is or your experiences are, or your failures and all that. But what I can tell you is that if you're able to believe in yourself, if you're to constantly feed yourself with the fact that you are the best out there and you will stand in the gap to make things happen, eventually it would happen. Because everything starts from the mind. The body is just an execution tool. It just executes everything that starts up here. And that is why there are people held back. There's several people out there who have had parents, who have had family, friends say things to them when they were as young as 7, 8, and all that. And it's held them back even in their old age. That is a very serious thing for you to consider. When it comes to money, never limit yourself, because you've got skill sets, talent, people, friends that you can actually tap from and build that wealth that you want to build. And mind you, several lives out there depend on yours. So don't narrow yourself, don't limit yourself, don't listen to people and try and demean yourself in any way. And I believe that if you have all these things set out, you can go on to attain that financial goal that you set yourself to achieve. But thirdly, one of the biggest things and biggest mistakes that people make is that they avoid money discussions altogether. So I have friends, I have family, and people who don't even want to mention money in discussions at all. And that stems from one effect that psychology calls the ostrich effect. So we all know how big the ostrich actually is. But anytime that the ostrich is faced with a challenge or a difficulty, it just goes to bury its head alone in a heap of sand, leaving its entire body in exposure. But in the ostrich's mind, it feels like once it's been able to hide its head, and its body is hidden as well. But that is not the truth. Think about it. People tend to avoid all these discussions because they feel like they don't want to hold themselves accountable. Think about it. People go out there, spend money on weekends, and then they don't even want to open their banking app or their credit card apps because it shows them what they spent their money on, and that is not what they want to spend their money on. They don't want to confront the challenges. They don't want to confront the things that actually are not necessary for them to achieve their goals. So they avoid them altogether. That is one of the biggest challenges that people tend to make. There are couples out there who don't even discuss money. The people out there in the family, anytime there is any issue or any raise of money or any discussion about money, you see people going off, becoming all emotional. Money is forbidden in that house. Money is forbidden in that circle. And that is one of the biggest things to hold you back. Because the more and more you share the problems, the more likely you are to find people who are ahead of you in life, who have gone on to do it. And these people would freely give you the advice that you're looking for. A single advice can change your entire life. For example, when I was studying for my master's degree in 2021, we had one lecturer, and then he was an accountant that majored in mergers and acquisition. And I remember that lecture clearly. He gave a critical example of how one Asian government had contacted his firm to buy some properties in London. I wouldn't like to disclose all the details and all that. And how he went on to advise them that instead of them making losses as a result of that purchase, eventually just changing a couple of accounting principles and applying new principles to the purchase and several valuation methods being changed and all that, the government ended up making money instead of losing money. I sat down in that lecture and I wasn't really focusing on what was being taught. I was just focusing about the fact that you can still consult people. There are people out there that you can talk to. People you can share your problems with that would eventually just offer you some assistance or help. Today on YouTube, it's very easy for people to just, get the advice that they're looking for. When I wanted to start my YouTube channel, I went through several pages, Think Media for instance, looking at the best gear, what is the best lights that I can get, what is the best microphone that I can get. Everyone out there has a solution to a problem. Try as much as possible and align with people that you know are in line with your goals. Check your circle, assess it. Are these people that can actually affect me in a positive way? So with all these said and discussed, how then do we reverse all these misconceptions about money? and how do we go on to be on track, get ducks in a row, and then pursue our collective goals together as dreamers. Now, first of all, what you need to know is that according to Napoleon Hill, you need to have a definite chief aim or a purpose and a goal. And this goal should be written down, and you should try as much as possible to develop actionable steps as to how to go about this goal and then how to attain it, and a stipulated time within which you're likely to achieve this goal. You need to make it as simple as you can. Try as much as possible not to make it far-fetched. Try as much as possible based on your abilities, your skill set, your talent, and even the resources that you have, and then carve a goal that you can actually go on to achieve. In a like manner, you shouldn't also set goals that are far below your expectations or your abilities. So you need to make sure that it is something that pushes you a little bit out of your comfort zone, but then also it doesn't stretch you out or cause you to derail from the very course that you're on at the moment. Secondly, what you need to know is that you need a strong desire. You need to fuel your decision making or fuel the definite chief aim that you have. And this can come in the form of internal or external motivation. There are several books out there that you can read, you can listen to podcasts, you can go to seminars, you can watch people on telly, and then these people will give you or share experiences that, in my opinion, might positively impact you and help you push you a step further towards the attainment of your goals. Thirdly, you need to be determined. Determination is the key towards success. So, irrespective of whatever people would say to you, irrespective of whatever the family looks like or what your experiences look like, you need to be determined. You need to convince yourself beyond reasonable doubt that come what may, you still stay the course. It might not be easy. We've had several failures in life, but then every single time you feel better, every single time you go on to do the very things that you want to do, eventually you get better at it. I didn't just start one day to start shooting YouTube videos, no. I had to fall back on my wife, and then she questioned me at some point, said like, why do you have all these gear and yet still you don't record the videos? What is holding you back? Determination comes from one, external motivation and internal motivation. Sometimes it's very difficult for you to hold yourself accountable. That is why it is necessary for you to share your goals with people out there and then help them to also hold you accountable. So if you say, oh, I'm going to post one video every week, I'm going to post 2 videos every week on my YouTube channel, if that is what you're setting up your mind to do, then you should have someone out there watching out to see, like a watchdog, checking to see if indeed Nana goes on to post this video, or he's just saying, oh, I would like to post a video, and then eventually says, oh, but I was so tired, I came back from work, or I had cold, couldn't record this, that, trying as much as possible to develop all manner of excuses to hold you back. Fourthly, and the last, the best thing that you need to consider is how to discipline yourself to stay the course. Because money creation, is not easy. Wealth creation is a huge responsibility. So you've got to be disciplined. There are several things and activities that you'd have to cut off. There are family, friends, people that may not influence you positively, or people that may actually derail you from the course that you may have to cut off. It's a very difficult decision, because once you take a step closer and a step further, there are several people that might not be able to catch up with your aptitude. And that is what would eventually lead you to putting them or sidelining them and then eventually focusing on your goals and your ambitions. It would come at a cost, but are you willing to discipline yourself to pay that price? If you're willing to do that, then I believe in you. Because once again, as is said and widely believed, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, I believe that we can achieve it. So get in the right frame of mind. Try as much as possible not to be held back by all the predicaments, the bad breaks, the disappointments, the adversities. Focus on your goals. Try and then keep on. Keep fighting. Stay humble, stay hungry, stay foolish when the need be, according to Steve Jobs. And I believe you can make it. Thank you.